Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. Welcome back to Ham Radio Live, where the world comes to talk radio. What you can do to make radio better and more coming up. Live from Central Florida, it's Ham Radio Live.
Here's where I sit all cloudy and blends with the dream of bottles lying everywhere. Got a guitar in my hand and a Western oil can under my ukulele for a chair. It's Aloha Friday, no work till Monday. It's Aloha Friday, no work till Monday. Cousins all here, drinking up my beer, got cakes running everywhere. Got some pokey on the side while Mom was trying to hide the Miller and the Heineken beer. It's Aloha Friday, no work till Monday. It's Aloha Friday, no work till Monday. Okay, you know, when you want to get away, I mean, one thing about Friday, man, the working week is over. And frankly, I feel good, man. I work hard all week long. I can't wait to get away. You know, down like the beach, I'm cruising this weekend. Yeah, I get one hot concert too, man. That's the most important thing. The main thing too is to get enough money for gas and to go out to the disco. I like to see all them beautiful chicks. Yeah. So I'm gonna just kind of cruise, take my Bank of America card. You know, otherwise, how can I get money? Right? Plus, then my friends always say, "Hey, brother, you can buy me one drink, man." Kimbo and the crew sucking up the brew, who meet smoking on the side.
All right, get your doobies.
All the surfers
Let's
on
get the
top
doobie
while the
doobies.
high schools
Here we
are
go.
popping.
One more chorus. Let's go. Everybody together.
It's Aloha Friday, no work till Monday.
Ba-doobie doobie 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 doo. Ba-doobie doobie 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 doo. Oh, do it again.
It's Aloha Friday, no work till Monday.
Oh my goodness gracious.
It's Aloha Friday.
Kimo Kahoano with a song that we like to play on Fridays just in honor of being Friday. That's sometimes just good enough, right? Hi everybody, it is Friday, April the 17th, 2026, and live from Central Florida. Away we go. Hi everybody, good to see you. Happy Friday! Woohoo! It's going to be a fun show. We're going to teach you some stuff today on the program, whether you're an experienced ham, been in all your life, or maybe, just maybe, you're new and you want to learn about a cool antenna. Boy, it's a neat segment. I originally was planning today to do the eSkip segments, you know, because that's coming. It's like a month away when eSkip opens on 6 meters and 2 and 10. There's some good stuff to be done, but not yet. We're still in the middle part of April, and until we kind of move a little closer, we'll do that segment probably next week. But this segment I got for you today is something I don't know if you know about. I found it completely by accident today on my walk with the dogs. I was like, I'll listen to that. It was like 30 minutes. I'm not going to have you go through 30 minutes here on the program. That'd be awful hard to ask you. But I do have enough of it that it gives you how it was built, how big it was, and what it was for, what the target audience was. So I hope you enjoy that today in the program. Also, we'll have trivia, we'll have topic question, and we'll have all of the fun that we normally have here on the show. My name's Larry Dio. My call sign in amateur radio is Kilo 7 Hotel November. I'd like to welcome you here to my little shack in Florida, This is Ham Radio Live. If you'd like to get yourself in amateur radio, contact the American Radio Relay League at www.arrl.org. Click on the contact part of their page. Just tell them I'd like to get my ham license and where you live in the world, and they'll search through their online database and they'll find a local ham club near you. Really simple. www.arrl.org. We've got a show email here, info@hamradiolive.org, and we've got some stuff from that today on the program. I hope you do enjoy that. Also, we have a website at www.hamradiolive.org, one-stop shop for you if you're in amateur shortwave radio DXing and you like to get the best and latest information on how you can be very successful. Also, we do have a Discord channel at ham-radio-live. That's ham-radio-live. That is also free for everybody worldwide to use. We'd love to have you join us on our Discord channel worldwide. There are people from all 6 continents there, and we would love to have you be part of the conversation. Today's topic question: how would you fix ham radio? Yesterday was the most polarizing show that I do. What's wrong with ham radio? And you all jumped in and you did great. You did really good. Now that we know what's wrong, how would you fix it? Let us know in the comment section, and we'll make it part of today's program. Let's take a look who's first, second, and third today on the program. On a Friday. It's a Friday. First up, my dear friend from the state of Wisconsin. We got a little segment today, Bill, on an antenna that's actually, there's parts of it still in your state. Believe it or not, it's an amazing antenna. It really is. First up, Bill Myers, Kilo Alpha 8 Golf India, and Mike. Give him a beep, beep, please, to welcome him here. Thank you, Bill. Good to see you. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you. I guess it's afternoon now. Just clicked over. It's just afternoon there in Wisconsin. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Continent number 2 has joined the conversation here. That is, thank you, Namibia, Africa. Hi, Wine, good to see you, buddy. Victor 51, Whiskey has joined the conversation. It's good to see you, Wine. Thanks for coming, and thank you all for being here today. I think we have another one. Yeah, Barry Wendon, Gulf 6, Juliet, Mike X-Ray. Yeah. Hi, Barry. Good to see you. A very happy Friday. And my dear friend Tom, all the way in Bulgaria, Alpha Echo 1 Tango Papa. He's going to get that that Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey back all the way in the beautiful country of Bahrain. So, yes. He's going to walk in there. I can hear him now. He's going to come in there looking all like Clint Eastwood. He's going to, hello, I'm here to reinstate my license.
Surely there must be something you can do.
I'm doing everything I can.
Stop.
Stop calling me Shirley.
Yeah, pretty much. That's going to be cool, Tom. You'll get that back. The hard part for Tom, it's really, I'm serious, it's so blasted hot a lot there in Bahrain. And, it's an island. It's a big island, right? It's a large island. In fact, the U.S. Fifth Fleet is there, and the Bahrainian people are kind enough to let us have a naval base there. And this place is growing so much, and Tom's running out of places he can work. Like, he had a really cool area right off the Persian Gulf. I mean, literally, his back trunk was open, the back deck of his SUV, He'd put his radio in the back of the SUV, have everything set up, have himself a table, cold drinks, and he would sit there and make calls around the world because he would work 85 watts off of an adjustable antenna that really worked him well at 85 watts, right? And people would just climb over each other to get Tom. It'd be like working wine in Namibia because there's not a lot of amateurs on the HF band out of Bahrain. So, Tom, I know you'll get that license back, and it's well worth it. Even if the areas are growing shorter to be able to work that radio, it'll be worth it. Good to have you, Tom. Happy Friday. I admire Tom a lot for what he does. I really do. It's not easy because, you got to get the license and then you've got to go do it, and it's still hot and it's still humid. Hello, Aaron Lutz. Yes. Victor Echo 5, Echo Mike Lima. Victor Echo 5 Lima Golf, all the way in the beautiful country of Canada, Saskatchewan to be exact. Good to see you, Aaron. As always, a very happy Friday. Andy, man, it's been a long time. I thought you may have hated me or something, but I'm glad you're back. Mike 9. He's even better than him. Oh, man. Was it the Mystery Mission Impossible, MI6, right? He's M9. That's pretty cool. M9, X-Ray Tango Tango. Andy, mate, always a pleasure. Welcome back. Good to see you. Good afternoon all the way in Great Britain. Good to have you today. Also, I think we got one more that piled into the old back of the cab here. Nope, we're good. Let me get you to the next segment here. We're going to talk quick on the weather. A lot to do this show. A ton to do. Your HF Weather is powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. SFI 108, sunspot numbers 51. Those numbers are going to come down a little bit. It's just we're losing sunspots. We need some reinforcements, but it'll be okay. Look at the BZ latitude. It's a minus 0.0. You rarely see that number. So it's neutral. That means that north and south here on the good old place we call home, the Earth, is equal solar radiation. Solar wind also down to 343.2 kilometers per second. The A index is 3 and the K is 0. It's been down for a long time, but it's expected to come up just a little bit this weekend. K1, K2, maybe a K3, not going to be huge, but there will be an increase here. 17 and 15 are the only fair HF bands that are shown here. You can work them. Both are open, so just wait later in the day and you'll make the calls. Also, 10 and 12 open to folks that are about 30 degrees north and south of that number. And then in the southern hemisphere, you can work it all the way to about 45 to 50 degrees north. Your magnetosphere view, this explains why we're going to see a drop. Maybe, and not too much, maybe plus or minus 5 here in the next day or two. 4416 is about to race off that eastern limb of the sun. We still will have 4418, 4415, and 4419 to keep us company for a few days at least. So expect solar flux index numbers kind of slide a bit once we lose 4416. Maximum usable frequencies worldwide, 10 meters still heading south. In fact, 10 meters now is as far south as about the Florida-Georgia line. And that's pretty much reliable. So in the middle of the day, if you're south of the Georgia line, you're going to get 10 meters, and that's also throughout the state. So a lot of Texas is going to get it, parts of Louisiana, you'll get 10. And if you're close, like if you're Atlanta, you probably get 10 meters late in the afternoon. So just hold on to it. You'll work 10, and it will work to the west and south. So decent conditions if you want to work the 24.6s or 7s, whatever, and then go up on 28.2 and make calls. Your HF forecast today, a stable SFIs plus or minus 5 here the next day or two. QS Baker on the HF bands, expect that this weekend. Noise floor is a bit rough coming tomorrow. Not bad. Going to be fine. 10 meters, 35 degrees north now. It's simply best world DX is 15. And we're going to show a call that was made by Mike in Jacksonville, and it shows just how awesome the 15-meter band is right now. Just wait for it. Later in the day, once the ionosphere has had a chance to really cook, 15 does very, very well if it's later in the day where you live. Nighttime ham radio, SFIs plus minus 10 for the next few days. Good nighttime DX out there. Noise floors might rise a little bit over the weekend. Expect a little fading on the HF bands as well. Top DX bands 40 meters. Work 80. Work the nighttime 160 if you've got an antenna for it. You'll make decent calls out there. Of course, digital available on 60, and you can make some good calls there too. Shortwave DXers, good shortwave conditions. Decent SFI numbers. Noise floors are increasing just a bit, not too much through Sunday. Decent DX. Your shortwave daytime bands typical 31, 25, 22, 19, 15 in the 13-meter band. And nighttime shortwave listeners, slightly rising noise floors might be a little bit problematic. Not too bad. You will have static crashes, though, and that's will be through Sunday. Expect some fading on signals. Shortwave nighttime 120, 90, 75, and 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22, and 19 meters open to both hemispheres about 2 hours after sunset, and they just fade away. But you might get 19 in the northern hemisphere for maybe an extra hour or two. I mean, it's that good right now, even with the SFI just above 100. Welcome worldwide to the program today. Yes, we got a lot to do today, a lot. We are going to talk about special events, the expeditions, and contests coming up. We also will have a really cool segment that I hope you enjoy. You know, I always can tell when you guys are watching the program and you really like it because the comments stop. It's because you're watching. And it's really cool because when I'm watching, I'm typically standing up and stretching a little bit for my back. But when the comment stream kind of slows and then stops, it's like, okay, got something good here. I think I have one of those videos. It's about 10 minutes. It's the only thing I don't like about it. I tried to edit out as much as I could. It was a 30-minute video, guys. And I've got the video link for you if you want to see the whole thing. But it's fascinating. It's just a fascinating bit of engineering. And I guess just thinking about how you can build a very unique antenna and make it work. Wow. I was like, no. And then it worked totally against all the principles that we know of, like soil conductivity, height, length, all those things. Nope. No. They threw it out and it worked. And it worked for like 16 years until finally technology caught up and they got better stuff. But some countries worldwide still using it. I hope you enjoy that part of the program. Let me just quickly say a bunch of hellos for some people who did come in. Welcome to Don in Texas, November 5 Sierra Kilo Tango, the guy that owns a Kenwood TS990 that I want. Hi, Don. Happy Friday, my friend. Always good to see you. It's always good to see you. Bill in Wisconsin, good news here.
Surely there must be something you can do.
Yes,
I'm doing everything I
listen,
can.
this is good. He's got 76 degrees. Man, he feels like it's summer now. He's got his bathing suit on. He's wearing flip-flops. He's like, woohoo. He says thunderstorms on the way later today. And that's the way it is in the Midwest. Like, you get springtime, right? And it's just glorious because it's no more snow. You're so grateful. And then the humidity comes up from the south, from the Gulf, you know, and they're like, oh, crud. And then in the afternoon, there comes the thunderstorms. Man, I remember those days. So thunderstorms later, keep the antenna safe, buddy. Keep it safe. Welcome also Rodney all the way from Holland, Pop Alpha 9 Romeo Whiskey. Rodney to our webpage. He's a good friend, does a lot of good stuff here. He's got the link there for live band conditions for you, keep you company over the weekend. And Winer from Namibia here also wanted to put appropriate but heavy rain and lightning. Ooh, boy, that's not good. Has your tower in Africa, Winer, has your tower ever been struck by lightning? I'm just curious. Make sure and unhook your coax or your hard line, whatever, to your radio. Just unhook it. Keep it safe. Stuff's way too expensive to replace. And Joshua with a big old yoo-hoo. Joshua, happy Friday. Thanks for coming. It's a real treat to see you today and part of the program as well. Rodney, I'll put this on the screen. I thank you for keeping the comments good. Yes, he is. He's a good man. Love Rodney here. Thank you, buddy. Randy New, our trivia guru, along with our dear friend Bill in Wisconsin.
There's no one knows his way around outer space like Dodgers in the 24th and a half century.
You won't believe what I just saw out there, right there. Wow. Production team here at Ham Radio Live is doing some amazing new things, and it's always really nice to be able to see it. Andy, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Don in Texas, here's how he would fix ham radio. Limit scheduled frequency HF nets to only small portions of each of 160, 80, 40, and 20. Ooh, I like this. Nets cannot schedule their frequencies outside those portions of the bands. Now that's interesting. So we're talking about fixing things that are flawed in amateur radio today. And this is a very cutting edge idea. You think about it, right? You would limit the nets time on the bands. You would limit what they have, okay? They can only use small portions. So it would be like almost a window for nets to use. They have to schedule amongst themselves. Let them deal with all the politics and all the garbage and let them figure it out. But they only have certain portions. I like that. It's interesting. Nets cannot schedule their frequencies outside those portions of the bands. First comment, that's comment of the week right there, man. Wow. Yeah, because, you got guys trying to work POTA and working DX and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, some guy comes like, hey, we got a net here in 15. I need you to move. What? I was here. I've been here 2 hours. I'm sorry. We've done this for 14 years. It's our frequency. What? So, Don, great comment. Love it. The crowd here loves it too. Nice comment. That's interesting. I like that. And Bill, I knew it. We do feel like it's summer. Kelly already has the air conditioner turned on. Oh my, it's funny. Yeah, funny how it happens because the humidity comes up. It just does. In the Midwest, I lived in Minnesota 2 years, and I remember, man, April, the heat would come, and it felt good for like a week. You get like about a week to 10 days without the humidity, and then all of a sudden creeping in right after it just starts to get warm. Then the humidity comes up.
Well, thanks, Larry. We'd have a penny for your thoughts, but I'm broke.
It really takes your breath away because you're not used to it. Winter's been dry. There's not humidity there. It's dry. It's cold. It's snowy. It's miserable. And then the warm weather all of a sudden comes up and you're like, yes, we made it. And then the humidity comes and all of a sudden.
Okay, we've had a problem here.
Yeah. It's just like, oh gosh, terrible. Bill, thank you. That's a very, very, really good comment. I bet. Meanwhile, in Holland, Rodney is multitasking, doing all kinds of great stuff here.
Don't you know how to knock phlegm wad?
Way to go, Rodney. That's very good. Appreciate that. Don continuing on his comments. Hold on, more. Continued. Nets can schedule a band, but cannot schedule a hard frequency anywhere in the band. Small scheduled frequencies only exist in the extra portion of the band. Oh man, interesting. He's taken a really good, thoughtful look at this. Yeah, I've only asked this question one time in 5+ years. I've asked it once. I've always asked what's wrong with ham radio. I thought, well, okay, let's do something different. How do we fix it? And Don's going right to the nets. I think it's great. Good stuff. Yep. Yeah. Because I think the biggest thing it hurts the little guy who's already on frequency, or it hurts the person that's trying to make protocols, or it hurts the person that's already been on the frequency for a while. Now, I don't mean that way for all bands. There's good DX nets that are out there and good nets that have been out there for decades, right? And they're like, okay, we got a sked. We'll work it here, or here. So in a way, they're already doing what Don's saying. A certain portion of the frequency is going to be used for our net. It's like 5 different frequencies. If you don't find us at 7120, you'll find us at 25. If not 25, 31. If not 31, 36. And they got 5 choices. So everybody's smart enough with a ham license to be able to say, oh, okay, well, they're not here on 7130. I got to go up to 31. Let me try 36. They know. So it's a really interesting comment that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. But what we don't like is a guy who comes and says, hey, get off the frequency. It's our frequency. Aaron in Saskatchewan, I know this is going to be good because Aaron loves nets, and I think he's going to have some good stuff. I don't know any network ops that wouldn't go to an alternate frequency if the regular one is in use. See? Yep. And you're talking to a guy who's part of nets. This is what he does in ham radio. Aaron is a guy who rag chews and talks to people who are on nets, his friends on nets. And that's perfect. That's why they exist. And he's saying, this is normal for us. We have lots of other frequencies. Interesting. We've got both sides of the coin right here on this show. Love it. I love that. That's good. Then Don comes back with his next comment there. He says, oh, and then allow any class operator to join a scheduled net without regard to license class. Wow. Huh. So you could have technically then anybody who's licensed in amateur radio to join the net without license restrictions of frequency. I wonder how you get around that. Because I'd have to think about that one, how I feel about that. Only for this reason. Because if people are interested in nets, right, that they want to do it, they're going to license up. They're motivated to do it. There's a reason to do it. I do like what the U.S. does in that respect. They say, okay, we're not going to give you all these frequencies if you're not licensed high enough. It's incentive, right, to move up. I think that's good incentive. I like the UK structure better because it gives you limited power, more bands on the HF side. I mean, if you're a technician here in the States, you have pretty much run-of-the-mill on VHF, UHF. Not all frequencies, but a lot more than they have on HF voice, for sure. And it's an incentive, like, to learn Morse code, to do digital modes for technician class licenses. The only fun they have voice is 10-meter HF from 10.3 to 20.3. Hello, let's start this over. The only voice privileges they have, sideband voice, is on 10 meters from 28.3 megahertz to 28.5 megahertz. That took forever to finish that sentence. I have to think on that one, Don. Yeah. Bill in Wisconsin, I'd like to see a very small portion of 40 meters and maybe 15 meters open to the technician class. I think a lot of techs would upgrade rapidly once they got a taste of high-frequency communications. That's really good. I think that's really good. If you gave them 25 Ks, there's a big band. Both are big. I mean, both are big. Here in the States, I know they're not as big in Europe. So for a lot of people, you don't realize in the States that Europe ends at 7.2 megahertz. They don't have that big window from 7.2 to 7.3 because there's a lot of shortwave in there. So Europe ends at 7.2, but here in the States, we go to 7.3. It's a big band, and you could maybe get a little more room for them. I like that. I do. And 15 is a big band too. 15 and 10. 10's the largest. Is 10 larger than 80? I don't think so. No. 10's larger. Barely. Because you have literally 5 megahertz on 80, 75, 80 technically, right? Because you go from 3.5, not 30, sorry. You have 400 kilohertz there, excuse me. And then at the 28.3, I know there's a lot of sharing stuff. You got repeaters and SSTV and all that stuff too on 10 meters. But there's a big band there too, and on 21 megahertz on 15 meters, there's a lot of room too. Bill, nice comment. Love that. I do. Because you give them nighttime on HF. At least if they've earned it, they could use it, right? And then they're like, okay, well, I'd like to be able to use the other frequencies because I like this. Right now, they don't have any nighttime band here in the States. The entry-level license here in the United States, the people of the technician class, they cannot use nighttime frequencies for voice. And that's kind of a shame. Even if you gave them a little bit of 80 meters, I could see that. But they'd need a big antenna. Because the lower in frequency you go, the more wire you need for an antenna, or the more height you need for an effective antenna. Thank you, Bill. Good comment. Aaron says, and then there is the issue with nets that are in different areas of the band due to license restrictions. So, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Good comment, yes. Winan, the people call out of bands. They do that? Do you hear that quite a bit? I've never heard that. Kavortman just stopped by to say hello. Good to see you, Kavortman. Thank you for coming. Good to see you. Tom, tech license privileges to be expanded similar to UK style. I like that. I do. I think the United Kingdom has the best band plan in the entire world, except that they're stuck on 40 meters. I think that I love the US band plan better for 40. Who wouldn't? You get to go to 7.3. But I think they've got their head screwed on better with what they give their foundation licensees. At least they can use, here's why it's better. Let me share it with you. I could make a big argument here. I need a drink there because I'm going to talk for a second. This is good. The reason the United Kingdom is better than the United States in amateur radio privileges is because they know what influences people and interests them to get better, to license up. They're much better at it. For example, if you give someone 50 kilohertz on 40 meters and they can go 25 watts, and you give them another 50 on, say, 15 meters, right? And then you give them maybe 50 on 20 meters, and then you throw in another 25 maybe on, let's say, pick 12, 10, or 80, okay? Now they can work a nighttime frequency, they can work a multitude of daytime frequencies, and they learn to build antennas. You know why? Because they only have 25 watts. And when 25 watts are all you got, you're going to build the most resonant antenna that you can. You're going to learn to do that because you want as many of those watts going out as you can get. And honestly, 25 watts can work you 5,000 miles in decent conditions. Even if you're poor conditions, it might work you 25. You might work, like, for example, I don't know, let's think of place, Juneau to Los Angeles, right? Okay, but 25 watts. It's such a better structure in the United Kingdom to encourage people to license up by using a power carrot. I call it a power carrot. You get more power if you license up. And if you want to license up again, now you get 1,000 watts of power. You can use 1,000 on various bands within the band plan, right? UK, you know your band plan. But I like the fact that it all has to do with transmit power. It is so good. It's such a well thought out idea. And here in the States, we say 10 meters technicians, hey, 28.3 to 28.5, it's yours. However, when the conditions are like this, and 95% of the United States can't even get on 10 meters, that's a problem. It is. Because it's not working then. I totally agree. That's right now, in my opinion, the comment of the show. Bill, right? Sorry, Tom. It is. It's a great comment. It's a great one. Because he's right. Incentive with power, but give privilege. Give them some bands. Let them turn the ham radio on at night and make calls on 40 meters. Let them take part in a net on 40 or 80 and then have fun. Let them be inspired and have fun with amateur radio. But they can't do it if you don't give them frequencies. Even with low power, you still get 25 watts, and that's enough. That's plenty of power. Shoot, Andy could work me from Great Britain here to Florida. Absolutely. He doesn't need a directional antenna. He can use a wire or he can use a vertical. Oh my gosh. Love that. That's my favorite comment right there because it's really good. Colorist, welcome. Best to see you. Golf 4 BBC. Yep. And it's Echo India 6. India Echo, I think. I'm sorry if I don't have that one right. Yeah. Wine in Namibia. Bands expanded. That's good. I like it. I think, yeah. I think when you say that, I think if we added more, for people who are new, they could be inspired more to get more. You know, it's like it's the power carrot. Just use the power carrot. It works. Don in Texas, it's a thought in process, Larry, and more of a king of the world kind of answer and not necessarily a well thought out answer. You know, that's good though. I like what he's saying. He's just, this is what he thinks, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's brilliant. Thank you, Don. I think it's great. And he said, I think Bill means voice because text can operate CW. Yes, on some of those bands. He does. He means voice. And that's what I'm talking about too. I don't want to leave the US band structure the same. I want them to have voice. I want to give them 25 or 50 kilohertz. Or here, what about this? What if we revamp the entire thing? Let's say we said to technicians, okay, you can have part of 40, part of 80, part of 20, part of 15, and we're not going to give you anything on 10 or 12, and you can go to 25 watts, right? And then we went to the generals, and we said, okay, now we're going to give you 100 watts on all the HF bands except for 40 and 20. Why? Because they're the most reliable. They're going to be out there the most, and they're going to be usable the most, right? But still, 100 watts is a lot of power. But you can't get an amplifier yet. The amplifier comes when you get the extra, and then you also get the bonus of 12 meters and 10 meter DX, or you could make it like this. You could make it like 17 and 10. 10's not open for half the solar cycle, but for the other half, it is glorious. That's what DX is. That's where you're going to call the world, man. And we give them this 200 little kilohertz space where they're limited to 200 watts. It just screwed up. I would change the whole dang thing. I would redo the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, Josh went 7.2 in Europe. All of ITU Region 1, 7.2 is where 40 meters ends. And if you're thinking of working DX, it's always good to check band plans in other lands. For example, if you don't want to work the United Kingdom, take a look at their 40 meter band plan. Then you know, okay, I'm not going to call CQDX towards Great Britain at 7.225 megs because there's a shortwave station there and they're not hearing that. They can't answer. Yeah. Yes. And Aaron in Saskatchewan, and just to be clear, I enjoy nets for the ability to pass on communications. Absolutely. In emergency situations, I belong to traffic nets and emergency communications nets. Thanks for your work, Aaron. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate what you do. Because that's important to do. You're sharing communications and you're offering your time, effort, and talents at a time when it becomes most important. Do you know, this is so crazy. Like I was thinking of this today. I was like, okay, the people in Iran, a lot of them don't even know what the status of the war is. They're just believing what their country tells them, whatever. This is not going to be political. Not. Let me just finish. Well, why don't they have a shortwave radio? Do you realize that's how people in France and the occupied countries, how they found out what was going on in the world? Because inside their house, they had a shortwave radio that could hear it. Now, I understand some places get jammed and all that, right? I get that. However, the info gets in through radio. This is why I don't like these car companies here in the States dropping AM from motor vehicles, because it gets through, and it gets through in emergencies, and it's stupid to get rid of it. We can't lose AM here. It's too vital. And that's why I think if you get rid of shortwave radios in people's houses, they're not going to be able to hear international news and learn that, hey, maybe things are actually in our favor here. My goodness. I just thought of that day. I was like, man, I get the internet's been dropped, but if they could just hear on shortwave, maybe BBC or Voice of America or somebody, then they could hear what's really happening if the internet's closed. Radio gets through always. Dawn in Texas. I enjoy nets like the Collins radio nets. That'd be fun. And the Flex radio nets. Some of the YL nets seem to just go on forever. Sure they do. Colorist in the United Kingdom, I think the band privileges should be split a little to encourage license progression. It was VHF/HF when I studied in the 80s, and see how they've changed it. See, you're in a great spot, man. I think it's definitely the most liberal use of band spectrum and smart use of band spectrum for amateurs in the world is in the United Kingdom right now. It is. Didn't used to be. It took 50 years for them to change it, but they did it the right way. They first sent out the idea to all of their amateurs to vote, to get ideas. Okay, is this okay? And everybody voted and had a chance to work on it. This took over 18 months in the United Kingdom. But once it was through, it was done. And it's brilliant because they can use other bands. And yes, they're lower powered when they start, But that's when you learn, man. That's when you learn how to build an antenna, because that's important to know. And then when you build the antenna, you build it as resonant as possible. That way every watt gets out and it's not heating up the worm farm on the grass. You're just building a better antenna. So it just teaches so much and helps you be a better ham. Colorist, thank you very, very much. It's brilliant. And look how far it came from where you're at. It did. Aaron in Canada hear lots of out-of-band pirates, and I don't mean the free band CB guys. Don, I do like the UK and Canadian licensing systems. Australia charges too much, and they only have 400 watts. I mean, can you believe that? You're right there in the ocean. It's a large country. I mean, people in the States, Australia is bigger than us. So just understand, the continental U.S., it's a little bigger Australia down there, but they only give you 400 watts to work the world from the south, way down south. They should have more power, and maybe they will. That would be good. Colorist, people abuse the power privileges in UK. I bet they do. Sure. Prove I'm not using 25. I've got it up at 50 right now. Who knows? I got a bad antenna. This feeder's not real efficient. You go out there and feel my grass. You'll feel where that wire is buried, that coax there. Man, it's warm because I'm losing all that efficiency out there in the ground. Sure. I bet. It's easier to do, to abuse when it's a power limit. But I guess what I'm trying to say, it's Peter, I think is your name. Hey, Peter, what I'm trying to say is I try and think of people as being genuine and honest. And I know that's not realistic, but I try and look for the good side. And I know you do too. I know. But what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to say that they're going to follow the rule to the letter of the law. They're going to stay at 25. And then they're going to fall in love with ham radio because they got just enough of a taste of DX or maybe nets, or maybe they made some friends locally, whatever, but they love it now and they want to do more. And I love the fact of how the privileges escalate up in power as you get better in your license level. I think it's just a great way to do it. It's so good. It is. Joshua, speaking of resonance, I've been building a few of the Digitenna flywheel variant of the Infant Half-Wave, lowest SWR I've ever had on an antenna. Well done. Yeah. See, he's a new ham and he's learning how to build a resonant antenna. That's the way it should be, guys. That's how it should be. He's experimenting and learning and doing. Man, I love comments like that. Joshua, thank you. Jeff, darn, I'm late again. I know you're not alone on the night shift. Welcome back, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Late or not, you're here. Aaron, I like Canada's licensing. Basic is VHF and up. Basic with honors gets you VHF and puts HF with a 500 watt power limit. Same test. Advanced gets you big power, modified radios, ability to have repeaters. Absolutely. I like the Canadian model. I just like the UK one better. I do. We almost copy Canada in terms of what we do for our technicians and what they have for their basic license. It's just that we give HF privileges, 200 kilohertz on 10, a band that's open, half of a solar cycle. It could be better. Don, I think that I get that whining, but at least here, we need a way to recover the call. I do like the thought of lifetime, but then all the 1x2 and 2x1s would be gone here in a heartbeat. Yes, I agree too. I agree. I don't think you have to get the smallest call sign. I think there's a big demand for them, but there's nothing wrong with a call sign with your initials, right? That's not so bad. If my call sign was, let's say, Kilo Lima 7 Delta Juliet, I guess, because I'm Larry Dio Jr. Okay, I wouldn't hate that. But you can't come get my call sign. I like it. Let's see. A colorist, yeah, but aren't y'all restricted to like 400 watts? No, not in the UK. They changed it. last year, they now have 1,000 watts. And that's plenty big. That's plenty big. One in SWR isn't always king. Well, it's important for antennas. It is. I mean, if you've got a 5-to-1 and your radio barely tunes it, I think it's really important. And, soil conductivity is important. Although the video I have for you will share, it's not really the thing. Chris in the UK, welcome. Good to have you, mate. Always, yes. Golf 7, Victor Echo Oscar. 1 kilowatt for full license. And we have 4 meters, but would like more on 40 like the USA has. Exactly. That's what I was saying, man. 40, I'll take us. Every time I'll take US because we get that extra 100 kilohertz on the 40 meter band. But, man, I mean, we have 1,500 watts, but really it's like a quarter of an S unit, maybe a third, maybe 40%, maybe, I guess. Not really. Every time you double the power, you gain half of an S unit. On your basic meter, it's not a great deal. So if they can't hear you at 1,000 watts, you're not going to probably be heard at 1,500 either. It's just such a small thing. Yeah. We could go on for hours on this. Yeah. And that's a neat thing. I didn't realize that with the Canadian license. It's lifetime, no yearly fees. We don't pay yearly fees here either. It's every 10 years we have to renew. And they believe there is some kind of a charge now. But if they had it 400 watts, of course, they're going to go over. Well, honestly, probably some people went over 400 watts when it was a limit in the UK, but it is the limit in Australia. And I try and think people are going to follow the rules. I'm just one of those people that try and do it. Joshua, 80, 40, 15, and 10 for Tech CW, I believe. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, it is. And all I'm saying is, and I think what Bill's saying too, and I agree with them, and Tom as well, is that give more HF privileges for voice. Let them have some fun. And if you build antennas and you want to build really good ones right, start building phase verticals. Just get your delay lines built right so it's perfectly set, and then you have gain like crazy. And let's say you're putting out 500 watts and you've got like 20 dB of gain on your antenna. Holy crud. Oh, you don't need more than that. Oh my gosh. Kilo Golf 4, Mike Union Kilo entered. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Larry, Kilo 7 Hotel November. Thank you for coming. Thank you. That's Outdoors with Kilo Golf 4, Mike Union Kilo. Wayne, nice to meet you. I'm Larry. Thanks for coming today. Interesting conversation. Yeah. Don, the shortwave broadcaster is mostly gone, and that's a shame. It is too bad. Aaron, Canada, shortwave radios are illegal in Iran. You'll lose your head if you get caught with one. Oh, there's ways to do it. There is. It was illegal in Germany, too, during World War II. Absolutely was. And in France, and in all the occupied countries. It's just that they did their things. Wayne, I hear a lot of interesting things on my ham radio. Oh, man, the whole world is there. Whole world. Andy in Bristol, agree with you, Larry, about giving your techs more band space as long as they don't get put off by joining the 7.2 net. Oh, that's funny comment of the show. That's very good. That's very funny, actually. And Jeff, what is today's topic question? It's like been talking forever because here we are, right? I got to go quick because, oh man, we're 48 minutes. Holy crud. Today's topic question, how would you fix ham radio? There you go. Conversation is really good today, guys. Joshua, one time I scrolled through the whole spectrum of my G90 from 160 to 10. There was all kinds of radio stations on weird places, a few on 20 and 21 megahertz. Yep. There's beacons and there's communications and there's all kinds of stuff that you'll find if you just have fun with it. Experiment. You'll have a ball listening. Listening is more fun just to find what's there. Don, I did like the call area thing here in the States. I hardly miss it, but I do miss it. Jeff in Canada, I would love to see ham radio taught in high school as a dedicated course. STEM, yes. STEM, yes. And it would do so well if it was taught, right? Gosh, you could do so much. You could. Robotics, drones, APRS, there's just so many connections. It's lots of history, science, troubleshooting, yes, and some good life skills they could take for the rest of their lives. Great comment. Yes, absolutely. Amen to that. Okay, I'm not going to show you the 6-meter thing. I am going to show you this because I thought this was fascinating when I saw it. And I thought, well, I'm going to share this with the show because you guys will love this. It's a radio-inspired thing. And I found it by accident, really did. But first, because I need to do this, I want to show you a great QSO that came in through our email at info@hamradiolive.org. Check this out. Mike, Kilo Golf 2, Mike, and a call from Jacksonville all the way to the Middle East.
Roger, Italy Tango 9, Bravo Echo Zulu, 5 9. Roger, thank you, 5 and 9. You're both 5 and 9, thank you, good luck.
Victor, Echo 1, Romeo Sugar Mike.
Kilo Golf 2, Mike.
Echo 1, Romeo Sugar Mike.
Kilo Golf 2, Mike.
Get him, Mike. Get him.
Kilo Golf 2, Mike. Kilo Golf 2, Mike. 2, Mike. Kilo Golf 2, Mike.
Roger, Mr. Mike. You're taking both 5-7.
Thank you. 5-7 Florida. 5-7 Florida. Thank you. 73. Good DX.
7-3, 7 Zulu 1, Delta Hotel.
Victor, Echo 1.
Huh? 7,200 miles from Jacksonville all the way to Saudi Arabia. Mike, Kilo Golf 2, Mike with a great call. And he followed it up. This is going to blow your mind. He went the opposite direction then. I don't have the video, but I have a picture of the queue. This is...
Italy Tango 9, Bravo
Hold on.
Echo
Wrong.
Zulu,
5 9. Wait. I got to get a blank because I don't want to miss this. This is really a great call. So let me just put this up real quick. You see the radio first, and I'll make it blank. This is worth seeing. This call blew my mind because it's one I've tried to make, and I can hear him, but he's not hearing me. That's the only thing that I think is too bad. Let me show you this real quick. This is a neat achievement. I saw it, and I was like, oh, man, Mike, good job. Because you don't see this kind of thing very often going this direction. So I'm going to just kind of get this uploaded to the phone real quick so I can get to the computer. It's just going to go straight from the phone to the computer. And magically, by the power of technology, I'll be able to show you the next call he made. And just like maybe an hour after this, look at this. This is call number 2. This was Mike in Jacksonville, Florida. 7,255 miles to the island of Fiji. Wow. Fiji Islands, all the way from Jacksonville, Florida. Kilo Golf 2, Mike. Amazing. What a pair. And then you know what? So when we think about radio communications not being great, that's why I say if you wait till late, have patience to wait till later in the day, when the ionosphere has had enough time to heat up, you'll make great calls. And he did that without power. He did that. He's got a 200-watt radio. Okay, 200 watts. Okay, half an S unit. But he still made both calls. Mike in Jacksonville. Kilo Golf 2, Mike. Well done, sir. Yes, sir. Man, that's good stuff. That's fun. I love sharing stuff like that. Real quick, before I show you this last bit, I think it's important because we always show this stuff. Let me get you real quick to what's going on this weekend in amateur radio so you can have some fun, work some special events, maybe even have a good time. You never know. First of all, special events. This is this weekend. Louisiana Purchase special event runs through the 21st. It's going on right now. Call sign November 5 Lima. That's November 5 Lima, all right? And then also Wilbur Wright, 159th birthday event. I bet you old Wilbur's a bit crispy right now. Who knows? He's pretty happy, but 159, he's quite a life. Whiskey 9 Whiskey, that runs, it ended yesterday. Perfect, never mind. Sorry. Another problem here on the radio program.
Please send any complaints regarding this show to Callum McCormick at DX Commander.
Thank you very much. Right. Also, Florida State Parks on the Air contest is this weekend. It started today. It runs through Sunday. Call sign Whiskey 4 Alpha Charlie, Whiskey 4 Alpha Charlie, out of Nokomis, Florida, right there north of Venice Beach on the southwest coast of Florida. They plan to be somewhere around 14.337 megs, maybe plus or minus. Okay. Coming up next week's International Marconi Day, by the way. And don't forget, this weekend, Sunday, is International World Amateur Radio Day. Yes, this coming Sunday, the 18th, is World Amateur Radio Day. So go out and make some calls. Here are the coming up next week. Kilo 3 Sierra out of Baltimore. That's the first International Marconi Day event. And the next one is out of Babylon, New York. Whiskey 2 Golf Sierra Bravo's that call sign. The one out of Baltimore is Kilo 3 Sierra. Contest counter, a lot going on this weekend. There is a ton of contests, and there may be something you might want to work here, like the Michigan QSO parties going on, Georgia State Parks on the air, the Florida State Parks on the air, and don't forget the Quebec QSO party this weekend as well for our folks up north. Going to be fun. Also, Worked All Provinces of China DX contest is this weekend. You may get some Chinese calls. Also, Texas State Parks on the Air is coming this weekend. Let's take a look at just a few of these here. First of all, Worked All Provinces of China DX contest from 6 UTC so tomorrow through 0559 Zulu on the 19th. Okay, so this is April 18th and 19th. Sideband 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10. And you got the power levels given right there as well. So don't forget, you can get some good calls to China this weekend. Also, the World Time Zone Challenges this weekend is Morse code and sideband, all but the work bands, high power, more than 100 watts. And the bonus, by the way, I like the bonus vaults, each time zone offset code once per band. So please follow the rules as you work the time zone special event contest thing. Michigan QSO party, Morse code and sideband, 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10. They're excluding tuck band on this one, so no 160. And there's the power limit, 100 and so forth. If you're more than 100 watts, you're considered high power. So just run 100 and you'll be fine. That runs 1600 tomorrow through 400 on the 19th. Next up comes the Spain, I know it says E8, that's Spain. Spain QRP Morse code contest. So for Morse code folks, look at how it's all spelled out there. There's tons of different bands and times given there for you to work Morse code. For you folks that can really work Morse code, you have a great opportunity to do that this weekend out of working through Spain. So it should be a lot of fun. Your special events, your contests, and now your DXpeditions, Manami Torashima. So Manami Torashima, excuse me. Call sign prefix Juliet Delta 1. This is a spare time operation, 50 watts, basically Morse code and some FT8. That still goes on through May 15th, right? Galapagos Islands runs through May 31st. This one is spare time as well, but they are running a little bit here. I've seen the call sign, Hotel Delta 8 Romeo. This is Hotel Delta 8 Romeo, and listen to them. Also, one that's difficult to find is Western Sahara, call sign Sierra 09 Sierra. Super easy call to remember, right? Sierra 09 Sierra. This is doing sideband and Morse code and doing EME as well. So Morse code sideband EME, plus they're doing Q Oscar 100 digital mode. 100 watts and working on that one. Rodriguez Island, this one's interesting. This one comes through May the 20th. Call sign 3 Bravo 9 November. That's 3 Bravo 9 November. Only Morse code 20, 15, and the 10-meter band. Liechtenstein goes through tomorrow. You still have a chance to work Liechtenstein. Call sign prefix Hotel Bravo 0. That's Hotel Bravo 0. Mainly doing some Morse code, and there'll be some sideband and radio teletype included as well. Guinea, call sign 3 X-ray 3 Alpha. That's 3 X-ray 3 Alpha. Island on the Air Africa 051. That's why you want to work it. Africa on the Air 051. It ends on the 25th. Call sign 3 X-ray 3 Alpha. 80 to 6 meters sideband Morse code and FT2. They say they are using low power stations. Finally, Saba and St. Eustatius, that runs through the 19th, so that'll end on Sunday. The prefix for this one, Papa Juliet 6, that's Papa Juliet 6. Island on the Air, North America 145. They plan to be 5-watt POTA and SOTA operations. Listen for this one. If you're lucky to catch it, man, do pretty good. And Mike has already got Fiji, and it just came out. Are you ready for this? It just came out late last night. No kidding. No joke. Mike's one of the first people in the world to work Fiji. Call sign 3 Delta 2 Juliet Kilo. That's 3 Delta 2 Juliet Kilo. They are Island on the Air Oceania 095, 20 to 6 meters, mainly doing FT8 and sideband. So catch them on the digital modes there or listen for them on 15. You can find a lot of that stuff on 15 meters. I'll give you 2 more. Marquesas, it starts on Sunday, runs through the 30th. Call sign Tango X-Ray 9 Whiskey. Super easy to remember that one. Transmit 9 Whiskey. That's it, TX9W. This is Island on the Air Oceania 027. They're planning to do 160 to 6 meters. That's a pretty big range. Morse code, FT8, FT4, sideband, radio teletype, but I think you put it in the order of preference, right? So there's still number 1 Morse code, also digital, FT8, FT4, and then sideband. So yes, try and find it, spy network, and work it. That'd be a good one to get. Finally, Svalbard, most northerly area in the world that's inhabitable, and it's a good time to be there. April 21st through April the 24th. Call sign Juliet Whiskey 5 Echo. That's Juliet Whiskey and 5 Echo. This is Island on the Air Europe 026. Planned to be 80 to 10 meters Morse code, sideband FT8 and FT4. Right? Let me get you to something else here I want to show you, and hopefully this will be a little illustration about how quickly we've descended from solar cycle 25 peak. Look at this. Here is a progression of solar cycle 25 as of May last year. So about a year ago. Okay, we were right about the peak, just coming down. But look how quickly the drop goes. Look at that. Wow. Now, I said I thought this would be a 9-year solar cycle, so it would end about 2028. It's going to be close. I mean, it dropped suddenly and a very prevalent peak, quick too. It didn't hit it twice, just went up and then bam, it went down. So solar cycle 25 starting to go away here as we slide down the end of solar cycle 25. All right. Let me show you something. This is really neat, and I found it by accident. I'd love to tell you I'm brilliant, but I'm not. This video I found by accident this morning, and I thought, oh man, the guys on the show will love this. This is a video about a different part of the radio spectrum we don't really talk about very often, right? We typically talk about HF here, sometimes VHF, UHF, I guess, sometimes medium frequency, but mostly HF. But today we're going to bring up something that we don't talk about, extremely low frequency. It also is called very low frequency, all right? The difference is when you're on HF, the signals come off the ionosphere, refract down, and they hit the ocean and refract back up, right? Salt water is a very good reflector, but not for ELF. If you're in extreme low frequency, it's like 0 to, some will say 30 hertz, some will say 100 or 300 hertz. Those signals will come off the ionosphere and they go through the ocean. That's the difference. We're going to talk about an amazing station that was built over decades, and it was discovered by a guy who knew elevators. No joke. He was an elevator guy, and he built the idea of something that goes against everything we know in amateur radio about resonant antennas, half wave or quarter wave lengths for antennas, all that stuff. Wait till you see this. How did the U.S. communicate with their nuclear submarines at that, not periscope depth, at regular working depth, like 200 or 300 feet down below. Watch this.
But in 1958, Christopoulos proposed an idea that would solve the Navy's problem: the ground dipole antenna. The concept was brilliant in its simplicity. Instead of building an antenna big enough to radiate efficiently, impossible at ELF frequencies, use the Earth itself as part of the antenna system. Here's how it works. You construct long cables above ground, supported on utility poles like ordinary power lines. These cables don't need to be a half wavelength long. They can be relatively short, say 14 or 28 miles. At the ends of these cables, you bury electrodes deep into the ground, eventually going as deep as 300 feet in vertical boreholes. Then you pump massive amounts of electrical current through the system. The current flows through the overhead cables, down into the buried electrodes, and here's the crucial part: it doesn't stop. The current flows deep into the Earth's bedrock, traveling between electrodes through the ground itself. This creates an enormous underground current loop.
When alternating current flows through this loop at extremely low frequencies, it generates electromagnetic radiation, the ELF waves that can penetrate seawater. But Christopoulos realized something else. The system works best over bedrock with very low electrical conductivity, the opposite of normal radio transmitter sites, which prefer high conductivity for good grounding. Low conductivity rock forces the current to spread deeper and farther through the Earth before completing the circuit. This effectively increases the antenna's size, making it vastly more efficient. The key was finding the right geology. Christopoulos and Navy researchers identified the Laurentian Shield, ancient Precambrian granite and metamorphic rock formations, as ideal. These rocks are among the oldest on Earth, with extremely low conductivity. And they're accessible in the northern United States, specifically in Wisconsin and Michigan's Upper Peninsula. The Navy abandoned the massive Project Sanguine grid and pursued smaller alternatives: Project Seafarer in 1975, then Austere ELF in 1978, and finally Project ELF in 1981. Each iteration scaled down the size and power requirements while maintaining the core ground dipole concept. By 1969, Navy scientists had achieved what they called a scientific breakthrough, the exact nature was never publicly disclosed, that allowed them to reduce the required land area by 90% and the power requirements by a factor of 100. Instead of 800 megawatts, the final system would use just 2.6 megawatts. Instead of 22,000 square miles, they'd need only about 8 acres for the transmitter facilities, plus rights-of-way for 84 miles of overhead transmission lines.
But the real genius was in how the system exploited the physics. When you send 300 amperes of alternating current at 76 hertz through cables grounded into low-conductivity bedrock, the current penetrates hundreds of meters deep into the Earth. This deep, widespread current creates an electromagnetic field that radiates upward. The signal travels to the ionosphere, that layer of charged particles in the upper atmosphere, where it reflects back down. The Earth's surface and the ionosphere form a waveguide, essentially a tunnel through which ELF waves can travel around the entire planet with very low attenuation. Only about 1 to 2 decibels of signal loss per 1,000 kilometers. This meant a single transmitter site could theoretically reach submarines anywhere in the world's oceans. Well, almost. To actually cover most of the globe, the Navy needed 2 synchronized sites. The system would use frequency modulation, shifting between 72 and 80 hertz to encode binary data. The signal was then encrypted using Reed-Solomon error correction codes with 64 symbols, each represented by very long pseudo-random sequences. This allowed submarines to reconstruct messages even with extremely low signal-to-noise ratios. However, there was one final problem that no amount of engineering could overcome: Bandwidth. At 76 Hz with the narrow bandwidth available, data transmission rates were glacially slow. Various estimates ranged from 1 bit per second to 1 bit per 10,000 seconds. The Navy eventually admitted it took about 15 minutes to transmit a single 3-letter code group. You couldn't send voice, you couldn't send detailed orders, you could barely send anything. But what they didn't know was that this limitation would become the system's defining feature. Here's how it works. You construct long cables above ground, supported on utility poles like ordinary power lines. These cables don't need to be a half wavelength long. They can be relatively short, say 14 or 28 miles. At the ends of these cables, you bury electrodes deep into the ground, eventually going as deep as 300 feet in vertical boreholes. Then you pump massive amounts of electrical current through the system. The current flows through the overhead cables, down into the buried electrodes, and here's the crucial part. It doesn't stop. The current flows deep into the Earth's bedrock, traveling between electrodes through the ground itself. This creates an enormous underground current loop. In 1968, the Navy constructed a test facility near Clam Lake, Wisconsin, in the Chequamegon National Forest. They chose federal land to minimize disruption to private landowners and reduce opposition. The facility buried 28 miles of insulated cable in the granite bedrock. Initial tests proved the concept worked. But to achieve global coverage, they needed a second site. In 1983, construction began near Republic, Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula, 145 miles from Clam Lake. The Wisconsin antenna consisted of 2 lines, each about 14 miles long, arranged in an X pattern called a cross or orthogonal configuration. The Michigan antenna used 3 lines, 2 14-mile segments and 1 28-mile segment, arranged in an F shape. The shape wasn't significant. It was dictated by land availability and geological conditions. What mattered was having enough antenna length over suitable bedrock. The transmission lines looked like ordinary power lines. 1.5 centimeter aluminum cable supported on insulators mounted on 40-foot wooden utility poles. The right-of-way clearings were 70 to 100 feet wide. At the end of each line, electrodes plunged deep into boreholes, drilled 300 feet into bedrock. Each site had a 1-megawatt transmitter building. The Clam Lake facility drove 300 amperes through its antennas. The Republic facility used 150 amperes. When synchronized, the 2 sites operated as a single enormous antenna system. The Clam Lake test facility achieved initial operating capability in 1985. The Republic facility started testing in March 1986. On October 1, 1989, 21 years after the initial test facility construction, the complete system officially became operational. It transmitted continuously, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When not sending actual messages, it broadcast an idle signal so submarines could verify they were within communication range. The power consumption was substantial. The Clam Lake facility alone purchased about $400,000 of electricity annually from local utilities. To prevent disruptions during peak demand periods, each site installed backup diesel generators capable of producing up to 3 megawatts combined. When local utilities faced high demand, the Navy could switch to generator power, making their normal electrical consumption available to the grid. But all that power generated precious little actual radiation.
Listen to
At
this.
full power.
Wait till you hear this. So after all this work and all this money and all this time, guess how many watts it put out?
2.6 megawatts input, both transmitters combined radiated only about 8 watts of ELF energy. That's less than a typical light bulb. The extreme inefficiency wasn't a flaw, it was inherent to the physics. The antenna system was vastly smaller than the wavelength. Most of the input energy dissipated as heat in the cables, ground resistance, and bedrock. Only a tiny fraction radiated as electromagnetic waves. But those 8 watts were enough. Because ELF waves attenuate so slowly, just 1 to 2 decibels per 1,000 kilometers, a weak signal could reach submarines anywhere in the ocean. Submarines received the signals using a long trailing wire antenna extending several hundred yards behind the vessel. Even deep underwater, traveling at operational speed, submarines could decode the transmissions. The system was virtually jam-proof. Natural and man-made interference barely affected it. Even a direct nuclear strike couldn't generate enough electromagnetic pulse to significantly disrupt ELF communications.
I gotta stop there.
However,
because it would go on, and I had to pull the plug. Miley told me she had to go outside during that part. Anyway, 8 watts is what they got out of it. I want you to hear. This is VLF, and this is kind of that same thing. This one's from Russia. You can hear this on. Oops, it timed out. Sorry, we'll just have to re-go through it. This one timed out on me, but it's really pretty cool. I'll put you a signal here at because Russia has one currently, and it's on 82 hertz. I had to think for a second. 82 hertz. Listen carefully here. This is on using Morse code. Now we'll move it to sideband, low sideband, lower side. Here's AM. And finally, FM. All right, so that gives you a little idea of what it sounded like. I couldn't get you to. I should have had the thing shared on the screen there. I'm just trying to get to to go, but that's a little example of ELF transmissions to work under the ocean, so you could hear submarines could get commands and all that stuff. I was like, that's fascinating. It really is, because I know HF is going to refract off the ocean, but because it's very low frequency, it'll penetrate salt water. Amazing stuff. It really is. And today things are through satellites and all that. So things have changed quite a bit. Thank you very much for the creator who put that together. It was a really good video. And Mike, it's cool to see that you just saw that. That was a neat comment. I like that. And let me also welcome Gunther, who stopped in. DK50NV. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming. Always a pleasure. And and Chris in the UK had a Larry moment. Bedrock is where the Flintstones live. Jeez. Can't take you anywhere, man. I can't take you kids anywhere here. Get back in the car. My gosh. Today's topic question is about what you would do to fix ham radio. We're going to go quick because I got like 2 dogs outside. I'm not sure what the rest of them are doing. Mike, thank you for coming in for the comment too. And Gunther, nice comment. We played this on the show 2 shows ago, I think, about the QSO between Mike, Kilo Golf 2, Mike, as well as Gunther, DK50NV. Yes, that was fun. That was neat to be able to play that. That was a lot of fun. And Bill, neat comment. You can still see where the ELF antenna used to be in both Wisconsin and Michigan. Yeah, I bet. Like 14 miles of wire. Woo! 28 miles of wire. That's a lot, man. And Gunther, that's his dream amp for sure. Yes. I'm trying to find Don's comment. He made a comment regarding an idea he had. Win is 14 miles short. It's true. That's quite a big antenna. Here it is. Okay, so Don in Texas for today's topic question about how you'd fix ham radio. Here's a fun one. Larry for topic question. Limit phone contests to only operators of the highest class and only frequencies that those operators have exclusive use of. Test for that class would heavy etiquette. That's really interesting. Okay, so we would basically extras, it would be extras that would have full exclusive use. Generals would have some, but limited. Okay, all right, that's interesting. For contesting, that's interesting, yeah. Yeah, I could see something like that working because you're incentivizing them by going through the next class to go to extra, pass the test. But it'd be heavy on things that we should be talking more about, like, I don't know, the DX Code of Conduct or something. Jeez. Oh, man. Don, thank you very much. Real quick, we got to fly now, gang. We're real late. Here is the Angry Hams.
You know, when I see that Judy Collins, I'm glad I left my wife.
You left your wife?
Yeah, I left her at home.
Question one of, we'll do three today. Okay. Where is the best point to place an automatic antenna tuner or coupler? Okay. Where's the best place to put automatic antenna tuner? A, at or near the transceiver's output terminal. Is the ideal place to put an antenna tuner? B, at the farthest end of the antenna. C, under the operating desk or table. Or D, at the junction where the feed line meets the antenna. A, B, C, or D? Let me know. We'll make it part of today's program. We'll throw some flowers your way. There you go. Have some fun. Rodney, first up. And by the way, thanks guys for watching the video. I know it was a bit long, but I thought, man, this is really good, actually. I thought it was very good. Pop Alpha 9 Romeo Whiskey, at the junction where the feed line meets the antenna. He is correct. Well done, Rodney. Yes. And all of you guys got that one. I mean, not too long after Rodney answered, Andy got in, Don, Bill, Kjell. Hi, Kjell. Good to see you. All the way to Norway. Lima Bravo 3, Yankee, India, I think. I hope. Yeah, Wynan got it, and Aaron got it. The whole world got this one. Yeah, it's really good to have, if you've got a non-resonant antenna, like a flagpole antenna. There's a good one. A flagpole antenna is non-resonant, right? So you're going to put a remote antenna, one right there at the feed line of the antenna. By the way, welcome Sean as well. Echo India 7, Echo Quebec from Central Oregon. Hi, Sean. Great to see you as always. And Gunter F, the garbage can, because of the high laws.
That's my boy!
Of course he is. Yes. Okay. Question number 2. Thank you, Rodney. Appreciate you always helping me out. This one's pretty easy. One very common purpose of a balun is to couple a balanced antenna line to an unbalanced feed line. A is true. B is false. Good luck, guys. Give me just enough time to get a little drink of water. Quick. And Don, actual answer, use an antenna that doesn't need a tuner whatsoever. He's correct. Yes, he is. Barry Wendon, you got it right too. And of course, Mike, facts, Don. It's true. Just build it right the first time. Don, Texas, first up, November 5, Sierra Kilo Tango. It is true that the purpose, very common purpose of a balun is to couple balanced antenna line to unbalanced feed line. He's 100% correct. Well done, Don. Yeah, that's it. That's why it's called a balun, because it comes between balun and unbalanced feed line. That's just the easiest way to remember it. The entire world has this answer correct, by the way. Very proud of all of you. Gold star and extra cookies for all of you. By the way, good to see Toscan from Portugal. Big applause for Toscan, please. Thank you. Hi, Toscan. Happy Friday to you and your family, my friend. And Don, I run a doublet. All right, this one's going to be interesting. I think you'll like this one. This is the question 3. What major continental landmass lies in, this is CQ zone, okay, CQ zone 31. So take a look and see if there's a continent in zone 31, CQ zone 31. Okay, which one is it? A would be Asia, B is no continents, C is Africa, D is South America. Good luck. Right answer, we'll give you love. Well done, Team Worldwide. This is a fun question because we're not talking about ITUs. We're talking about CQ zones, right? CQ zone. So, first one in, Andy New Trivia Guru. He has B. None in 31. Andy, you are correct. Well done. Yeah, it's none. It's right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean right there, gang. Yeah. It features like Hawaii, Samoa, Tahiti. There's lots of nice places to visit or live if you can afford to. But Zone 31 is Oceania, right in the middle of it. You know, if you went just a little lower, you'd still have lots of ocean, but you'd also have Antarctica. So that would be a continent. But 31 is right in the middle of the ocean. Congratulations, Andy, getting it done. And Bill was writing his tail. And Don, all of you guys, all of a sudden, it was funny to watch the stream because the comments just flew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is B, 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 B. All right, we're through trivia, and we've made a quite long show here for you. We're almost an hour and a half in. And today's topic question has to do with how you would fix ham radio. How would you fix it? And Toscan with a neat comment. He said, put up a new antenna and it wouldn't tune with any of my automatic tuners, but was fine with 2 different manual tuners, different designs. That's interesting. It really is. And Tom in Bulgaria, it's a great question. Great comment, Tom.
That's just what they'll be expecting us to do.
Yep. If I'm unsure, I'll go with Andy. True. Yep. And why? Yeah, manual would have more range to be able to match. That's true. Don just got a BT 1500 Palstar. It's a nice balanced line tuner. I hope you enjoy it. Like it very, very much. How would you fix ham radio? Bill's on the way, 73, and thank you for coming. Good night, Bill. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend, right? How would you fix ham radio? Rodney, he says, ham radio self is perfect. It's a group of paper pushers and of angry hams that swell part of it. I would agree in some of that. Sure. I would, none of you said this, and this was my perspective, and it's totally different than most of yours. I would fix ham radio by coming down with a big foot. Seriously, I'd come down with a strong foot down on the ground. And I would say, if you are caught playing music, sound effects, causing any sort of DQRM anywhere on the bands, doesn't matter if it's a ham band, Citizens band, the Beatles band, Elton John, I don't care. If you're caught doing something illegal on radio, that not only do you lose your license, but you're also going to be fined like $25,000 because that's a lot of incentive to not screw around. I think it's a shame where we have people spending tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, in some cases, of dollars to send people to really exotic places for de-expedition purposes to work a ham radio, right? So we all get the blessing of working a very rare place that our signal was heard there and it was returned from there. It's an incredible thing to think about, right? But we have to do something about the people who don't give a gosh darn, and they're going to disrupt the nets, they're going to disrupt the de-expeditions, they're going to mess with you because that's what they do. And I'd love to see just a flat, serious, and then you'd have to follow it up though, right? You have to put enough resources where you would truly be able to enforce it, where you'd have the team of people, they're going out, they're knocking some people out, and they're saying goodbye. That's it. Done. Money, and you're off the air. Take the gear out, give it to first-time hams. They'll do more with it good than the person that had it did. And that's how I would fix ham radio. Gunther in Germany. Making FT8 against the law is how I would fix ham radio. I don't mind FT8. It's interesting. And Don, I think we all agree with this comment right here. Despite its flaws, I still love ham radio. Amen to that. My name's Larry Dio. My call sign, Amateur Radio's Kilo 7 Hotel November. I want to share something with you next show that's really cool. I got a QSL card that's worth a lot to me. And it's not the longest call I made, but it's one of the coolest calls I got. I'll share that next show. If you'd like to join us in amateur radio, reach out to the Radio Society of Great Britain at www.rsgb.org. Click on the contact part of the page. Let them know you want your ham license and where you live. They will then send to you a local to you ham radio club. Contact that club. They'll help you get licensed. www.rsgb.org. Great people at the Radio Society of Great Britain. You're going to like these commercials coming up, and we have a final sign-off TV close down from Holland. My name's Larry Dio. My call sign, ham radio, is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Wherever you may be in this beautiful world, God bless you. Goodbye, everybody.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Mr. Cow.
Yes?
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I don't know. I always end up biting. Ask Mr. Fox, for he's much cleverer than I.
Mr. Fox, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why don't you ask Mr. Turtle, for he's been around a lot longer than I. Me, I bite.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl, for he is the wisest of us all.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
A good question. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
If there's anything I can't stand, it's a smart owl.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
Ja, dan zijn de vampiers bij u te gast na de weerwolven vanavond. Maar er is ook nog meer. Om 8:00 morgen dan neemt Gilles Klaas ons mee voor zijn tuinprogramma. Om 9:05 de documentaire China, een lange weg door een oud land. En na het journaal de thriller Night Game. Jonge vrouwen worden het slachtoffer van een seriemoordenaar. Aan detective Mike Sheaver om hem te vinden. Afspraak met de misdaad, morgen om 10:00 bij TV2. En dan kijken we nu nog even naar de nachtradio, dames en heren. Daar hoort u straks regelmatig een nummer van Willie Nelson. Hij wordt 60 en is daarom de liedjeschrijver van de maandagnacht. En hiermee zijn we aan het einde gekomen van onze programma's bij TV2. Dank voor het kijken, nog een goede nacht en graag tot morgen.
Stem alleen voor mij, de rest denk ik erbij.
Parijs ging het meeste vooruit vandaag, maar Parijs had vorige week ook het meeste terrein verloren. De goudprijs zit in de lift, zowel in Brussel als in Londen.
I'll tell you the story behind the dots on the next show. Bye, everybody.
That's all, folks.